Hello and welcome to week number 4 of this course, Fundamentals of Electrical Engineering. Let's first have a brief summary of last week in which we discussed what are series circuits, and we discussed that two elements are said to be in series if they share a common node, and the important thing is that there is no other branch connected to that node. And then we discussed that two or more elements are connected in parallel if they have two common nodes. And finally we discussed two special types of connections, which were star connection and delta connection, in which we discussed that three elements or three branches are connected in delta if they are connected in an end-to-end manner, that is, the opposite ends are connected in such a way that there is no common point between the three branches. The three elements or the three branches do not share a common point, whereas three elements are said to be connected in star or Y connection if their same ends are connected, which means that there is a common point between these resistances or between these three branches, right? And finally we solved series and parallel combination numericals and star delta interconversion, and we saw how can we simplify a circuit using these interconversions in order to find the equivalent resistance of the circuit. In this week we will be covering uh, we will be starting a new topic of circuit analysis, in which we will be covering nodal analysis and supernode analysis. Now the question is, what is circuit analysis? The purpose of circuit analysis is to find the voltage and currents across each branch in the circuit, right? And we all know that voltage and current are the main parameters in a circuit. Once we have the value of voltage and current, we can find resistance, we can find power, and we can find further more parameters, right? So the basic purpose, or you can say the objective of circuit analysis, is to have a knowledge of voltage and current uh, through voltage is of course across the element and current is through the element at various points in the system of various branches in the system, right? Whatever techniques we will be applying in circuit analysis, the ultimate objective will be to find the value of voltage and current, right? And in this lecture as well as the upcoming lecture, we will be considering different techniques. We will be studying different techniques for circuit analysis, and we have already discussed what is the main objective of it. So let's move towards the first technique, that is a nodal analysis. Nodal analysis, you know, is based on uh, Kirchhoff's current law. We have already discussed what is Kirchhoff's current law. It says that the current entering a node is equal to the current leaving a node, leaving the same node, thus making the net current is equal to zero. Nodal analysis helps you to find the values of node voltages. What are nodes? Nodes are interconnection points in a circuit where two or more branches are interconnected. So what are the steps that need to be followed while performing nodal analysis? Let's see that this method of analysis is used to find out node voltages based on Kirchhoff's current law, and it involves the following steps. As step number 1, mark all nodes in the circuit. First of all, you need the step that you need to do is that you need to mark all nodes in the circuit, right? And then the second step is to select a reference node. Reference node, why you need to select a reference node? Because we all know that voltage is always measured across an element. That means you need to have a reference point for the voltage, right? Because voltage basically is the difference between two elements. For that you need to have a reference. That is why we need to select a reference node, and we usually assign a voltage of 0 volts to that reference node. That means we consider that that particular reference node is grounded. Normally the node with connection to maximum branches is considered as the reference node, right? And its voltage is then considered to be 0 volts, which is already written. Voltage of the reference node is then considered to be 0 volts. Now let's say that you have marked n number of nodes in the system, out of which you selected one node to be the reference node. So how many nodes are left? Uh, Now there are n minus 1 nodes left in the system, and what you need to do is assign voltages to the remaining n minus 1 nodes in the circuit, as you can say like V1, V2, V3 and so on, or VA, VB and VC and so on, right? This will be assigned voltages as variables, of course, because these are ultimately the parameters that you need to calculate, right? Then in the third step, what you need to do is apply KCL to each node and use Ohm's law to express the currents as a function of voltages. That is, first of all, you need to apply KCL, and then you need to convert the currents into voltages, and then you need to solve the resulting system of linear equations, right? You also need to solve the resulting system of linear equations. Let me add this sentence. Okay, the sentence is now added. Now what you need to do is solve the resulting system of linear equations. That means you need to have the same number of equations, at least the same number of equations as the number of unknowns. And the fourth one is just a special scenario. It will not occur every time in a circuit, that if you have a voltage source which is present between a reference node and a non-reference node, right? The voltage source, any element or any branch, can be present in two scenarios. Either it is present between two non-reference nodes or between a reference node and a non-reference node. Now, if a voltage source is present between a reference node and a non-reference node, then you do not need to calculate the voltage. Then the nodal voltage becomes equal to simply the source voltage. However, in cases where voltage sources are present between two non-reference nodes, where a voltage source is present between two non-reference nodes, they are regarded as special cases and solved by a different method, slightly different method, that is called supernode analysis. We will also look at that in the later part of the lecture. So for the time being, nodal analysis involves four major steps, or in fact three major steps. The first step is to mark all the nodes in the circuit and then select a reference node and its voltage is considered to be 0 volts. Then you need to apply KCL to each of the nodes in the system and convert then you need to assign voltages to the remaining nodes, and in the final step you need to apply KCL to each of the nodes and convert the voltages with the help of convert the currents into voltages with the help of Ohm's law, and you need to solve the resulting system of linear equations, right? So let's move on to examples so that you can also uh, have a better idea how to analyze a circuit or how circuit analysis is performed using nodal analysis technique. So let's start off with a very basic question which says that find the nodal voltages for the circuit shown in figure, right? Here is the circuit. It has a 6 ampere source connected to a 8 ohm resistance with a 4 ohms resistance, and then we have a 2 ohm resistance, and finally we have a current source of 10 amperes. Now what we need to do, we need to solve this circuit by using nodal analysis technique, right? So here you can see that the first step in solving any circuit by nodal analysis technique is to identify the nodes in the system. So here this will be regarded as a single node. Why? Because there is a short circuit between these 2 points, so this will be regarded taken as a single node. We can write it as node 1. Similarly, this again will be a single node due to the short circuit, and we can write it as node 2. And the third one, this one, this will be taken as the node 3, right? Now the next step is to identify a reference node. Commonly how we assign a reference node, usually the node with maximum number of branches. That is, here in this case you can see that node number 3 has maximum number of branches connected to it. Is also connected to linked to the 6 ampere branch, 8 ampere branch, 2 ohms and 10 ampere branch. So that means V3 will be equal to 0 volts, since V3 is a reference node, right? So this is step number 2. Now what we need to do, we have identified that there are 3 nodes in the system, 1, 2 and 3, and we have assigned voltage to the reference node. Now we need to apply KCL to each of the non-reference nodes, right? So let's start with node number 1. Applying KCL to node number 1, right? Applying KCL to node 1. Now here what we need to see is, this is node number 1, right? We can see that the 6 ampere current is entering the node, right? And there is no direction for the 8 ohm current through the 8 ohm resistance. And normally we know that resistors are current absorbing elements, or even if we do not know the direction, we can assume any direction on our own. Let's say that I have assigned this the name as I1 to this current, right? I1, and its direction is taken as downward, that is towards the reference node. Similarly, the current through the 4 ohm resistor, I have assigned it named as I2, right? Now when we apply KCL to node number 1, what is the result? We can see that one current of 6 amperes is entering the node, so it will be taken as plus 6. Now I1 is leaving the node, right? So it will be taken as minus I1. And I2 is also leaving this node, so it will be taken as minus I2 is equal to 0, right? Or you can write it as I1 plus I2 is equal to 0, right? I hope there is no confusion in there. Now the next thing we need to do is apply Ohm's law. So we know that according to according to Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. That makes I is equal to V divided by R, right? So I1, here you can see this is I1. Now I1 is flowing between these two nodes, node 1 and node 3, and we know that the current flows from one voltage level to the other level, that is from the higher voltage level to the lower voltage level. So the value of current is delta V divided by resistance, right? I is equal to the difference in voltage, because whenever current flows between 2 points, there must be a difference of voltage. If 2 points are at the same voltage, there will be no current between these 2 points, right? So the voltage that is responsible for the flow of current is V1. The voltage of node from which the current is leaving is taken as positive, and the node at which the current is approaching, that voltage is taken as negative. Basically we are taking the difference of voltage measured across this branch, measured across the 8 ohm resistor, so that will be V1 minus V3 divided by the resistance. How much is the resistance? 8 ohms, right? Plus I2 will be what now? Now I2 will be, here we can see the current I2 is leaving which node? Node 1, and approaching which node? Node 2. So the voltage which is responsible for the flow of current I2 is V1 minus V2 divided by the resistance, which is 4 ohms, is equal to 0. Right? I hope there is no confusion in this. Now we can simply sort it out. V1 upon 8 minus V3. V3 is basically 0. So 0 upon 8 will be 0. Plus V1 upon 4 minus V2 upon 4 is equal to 0, right? And when we simplify it, this will become V1, let's take V1 common here, 1 upon 8 plus 1 upon 4 plus V2 minus 1 upon 4 is equal to 0. Let's name this as equation number 1. I hope this is clear now. Right, this is our equation number 1. Let's also highlight it with another one. So this is equation number 1. Okay, fine. Now coming towards node number 2 in the same circuit, we can see here at node number 2, now the direction of I2 current has already been defined. Now you cannot change it in the circuit. Always remember this thing, that once you assign a current direction in a circuit, you cannot change it, because you have already considered this direction for one KCL. So this direction will remain the same. When we are applying KCL at node 2, here you can see that I2 current is now approaching the node, 10 ampere current is leaving the node, and since there is no direction of current through this branch 2 ohms, so we can assume it on our own, and let's name it as I3, right? So its equation will be I2 is approaching, that means plus I2 minus I3 minus 10. Fine. So what we have done is applying KCL to node 2, right? That will be plus I2 minus I3 minus 10 is equal to 0, or you can write it as I2 minus I3 is equal to 10. Any confusion? Okay, one thing that I have just noticed, that when we were solving this question, I1 plus I2 will not be equal to 0, because since there was 6, it will be equal to 6, which means the value of constant will be 6 in all the places, right? So please correct it. Now what we need to do is we need to represent I2 in terms of the voltages and I3 also. Now always remember this thing, I2 will still has the same direction. It is still leaving node 1 and it is still approaching node 2. So this will be taken as V1 minus V2 divided by 4. Similarly, I3 is leaving node 2 and approaching node 3. That means V2 minus V3 upon 2. Right? So that makes I2 is equal to V1 minus V2, right? V1 minus V2 divided by 4 minus I3 is V2 minus V3 divided by 2 is equal to 10, right? So that makes it V1 1 upon 4 plus V2. I've skipped one step of simplification. minus 1 upon 4 minus 1 upon 2 and V3 is 0 is equal to 10, and this will be my equation number 2. If you people want, you can also take the LCM and simplify, but the point is, again, we are here to learn basic electrical engineering, not elementary mathematics or algebra, linear algebra. So even if you leave it at this stage and directly put these values in the calculator to solve these equations, there is no harm in that, right? Now you can see that we have got two equations and there are two unknowns. So solving equation 1 and 2, you can also solve them manually again, as I have said, but even if you solve them in a calculator, you just enter these variables and constants and get the answer. There is no issue in that. So the answer will be V1 is equal to 9.4 volts and V2 will be equal to minus 10.2 volts, right? I hope there is no confusion in this question. And now you can see how, with the help of nodal analysis, you were able to solve this question. I am repeating once again the steps that we have done just for a quick overview. Basically, this was our question in which we were the first step that we did was to mark nodes in the system, and we found out that there were 3 nodes in the system, where this was considered as a single node because there is no element connected to it between these 2 points, and let's name it as A1 and A2. So since there is no element connected between A1 and A2, so this will be regarded as the same node 1, and we have assigned a voltage V1 to this node, similarly a voltage V2 to node number 2, and our node 3 is taken as reference node whose voltage will be 0. Now we have applied KCL to node number 1, 6 ampere current is entering, and the remaining currents whose direction was not specified, we have specified their direction on our own as I1 and I2. But it must be remembered that once the directions are specified for one node, you cannot change these directions for the other nodes, right? So 6 ampere is entering, I1 is leaving and I2 is leaving. That makes plus 6 minus I1 minus I2, or I1 plus I2 is equal to 6. Now we can represent I1 in terms of voltages. How? Because I1 is traveling between resistance of 8 ohms. That means the voltage difference, because voltage is always measured across any element. The voltage difference responsible for the flow of I1 will be V1 minus V3 divided by the resistance, which voltage will be this, and it will be divided by the resistance to find out the value of current, 8 ohms, right? Here it is V1 minus V3 divided by 8. Similarly, the voltage difference responsible for flow of current I2 current will be V1 minus V2. V1 minus V2 divided by 4, which is 6. We have separated out the values of V1 and V2, right? Now the next question is, the next node is here. We can see I2 current is entering, 10 ampere is leaving, and the third one, which we have defined as I3, is also leaving. That makes I2 minus I3 minus 10 is equal to 0. Again we have represented the currents in terms of voltages, and we have solved the equation through a calculator to find out the value of voltages, right? So this is what nodal analysis helps us to determine the voltages at the nodes, and once we have the voltages and the values of resistance, then we can easily find the value of current, right? So let's move on to the next question. Again the statement is same, which says find the nodal voltages for the given circuit, right? Find the nodal voltages for the given circuit. And let me draw this circuit. Okay, so this is the particular circuit. Now what we need to do, we need to assign nodes in this circuit, the very first step. So let's assign it as A1, A2, or just assign it as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, right? Again, you can see that there is short circuit between points A and B. So this will be considered as a single node, right? Point C is, yes, it will be a separate node. Then we have point D, again it will be a separate node. And point E, F, G, H, again there is short circuit between all these points, right? So they will again be considered as a single node. So how many nodes we have now? This will be our V1, this will be V2, this will be V3, and this will be V4. Since V4 has connection with maximum number of branches, so we can consider it as reference node, or we can say that its voltage will be 0 volts, right? I hope there is no confusion in this. Now the next thing that we need to do is apply KCL to node number 1. So let's do that. Apply KCL to node 1. Now applying KCL to node 1, you can see that here 6 ampere current is entering, so plus 6, and the remaining currents are undefined, so let's mark their directions. Let's mark this current as I1 and I2. So I1 is also leaving and I2 is also leaving, so it will be minus I1 minus I2 is equal to 0, or you can say that I1 plus I2 is equal to 0. And now you need to convert or represent this I1 in the form of what? In the form of voltages, right? And we can see that I1 is flowing between V1 and V4, so it will be V1 minus V4 divided by the resistance, which is 8. I2 will be how much? V1 minus V2 divided by the resistance, which is 4. Sorry, this is 6, right? And now you can separate out these values. V1 1 upon 8, right? V4 will be 0. Just wait a minute. 1 upon 8 plus 1 upon 4 plus V2 minus 1 upon 4 is equal to 6, and this will be your equation number 1. I hope it is clear now. Basically, equation number 1 in this question is the same as the previous question, right? And now what we are doing, we are now apply KCL to node 2. We are applying KCL to node 2. Again, you can see that we have marked the current I2, but the remaining currents are unmarked, so let's mark them as I3 and I4. I2 current is approaching this node, right? I3 is leaving, I4 is leaving. Since I2 is approaching the node, this is the node, right? And I2 current is entering the node in this direction. So it will be taken as plus I2, I3 is leaving, I4 is also leaving, minus I3 minus I4 is equal to 0. I2 is equal to what? V1 minus V2 divided by 4, right? So V1 minus V2 upon 4 minus I3 is what? V2 minus V3, V2 minus V4 divided by 2. V2 minus V4 divided by 2 minus I4 is what? I4 is this one, leaving V2 and approaching V3. So that means V2 minus V3 divided by 1. So V2 minus V3 divided by 1 is equal to 0. If we just separate it out, it will be V1 will have a coefficient of 1 upon 4 plus V2 will have coefficients of minus 1 upon 4, minus 1 upon 2 and minus 1. V4 is 0 and V3 will have a coefficient of 1. There may be a few mistakes in solving it out. Maybe the signs can go wrong, but the important thing is how to make these equations, right? This is equation number 2. Now since we have three unknowns here, V1, V2 and V3, that means we need to make a third equation also. The third equation is pretty much easy. Here you can see this third node, how much current is entering, I4, and how much current is leaving, 10 amperes, right? I4 is entering and 10 ampere is leaving. So what you will do is applying KCL to node 3, right? That makes I4 minus 10 is equal to 0 and I4 is equal to V2 minus V3 divided by 1 is equal to 10, or you can say that V2 minus V3 is equal to 10. This will be your equation number 3, right? And now simply what you need to do is you just need to solve these three equations, equation 1, equation 2, equation 3. Either you can take LCM and simplify, or you can directly put these values in the calculator, because the calculators allow you solution of up to 3 variables or 3 simultaneous equations, right? So there is no issue in that. Even the modern calculators allow solution of 4 simultaneous equations, but we won't need that. Even if your question involves 4 simultaneous equations, just form the equations and leave that, no issue with it. Okay, now what we need to do is solving these equations. Solution of equation 1, 2 and 3 yields when we solve equations 1, 2 and 3 in the calculator, it will give the solution as V1 as 9.142 volts, right? V2 as minus 10.23 volts and V3 as minus 20.2 to 9 volts. Okay, so these are your final answers based on the question, right? Okay class, so let's move on to another example of nodal analysis, and let me draw the circuit. The question is again the same, which says find the nodal voltages for the given circuit. Okay, find the nodal voltages for the given circuit. Okay, let me draw the circuit. Okay, this is your given question, and just in case you are having confusion, this is a current source whose direction is rightwards, that is in this direction, and its magnitude is 3 amperes. So now the next question is, or the first step is to find out how many nodes are present in the system. So you can see that here this complete path will be treated as one node because there is short circuit. So let's name it as node 1 and assign it as voltage V1. Similarly, you can see that this node will be treated as node 2 and its voltage will be V2. Again, we have a complete path which will be treated as node 3 V3, and then we have node 4 V4, and then we have the reference node which we assume that its voltage is 0 volts. Now the important thing is there, in all the previous questions that we have solved, all the sources were voltage sources, all the sources were current sources. There was no voltage source that was involved in the question, but in this particular question, as you can see, a voltage source is involved, and we have already discussed that there can be two scenarios regarding the involvement of a voltage source. Either the voltage source is connected between a reference and non-reference node, or the voltage source is connected between two non-reference nodes. In case the voltage source is connected between two non-reference nodes, then it becomes the case of a super node, and that we will be covering in the following lecture, in the second part of this week, right? And if the voltage source is connected between a reference node and a non-reference node, then the last point of the nodal analysis said that specifies that the source voltage the node voltage becomes equal to the source voltage. So in this particular question, as you can see that here V4 and V reference, in between these two nodes a voltage source is connected, right? Which means between a reference node and a non-reference node, which means that the node voltage will become equal to how much? The positive terminal is connected to V4, right? So it will become 12 volts, which means that if you just place a voltmeter between these two terminals, right, then the voltage reading will be how much? It will be 12 volts right? So V4 is equal to 12 volts, and now we will be solving the system of equations to find V1, V2 and V3, which means we just need to have 3 linear equations, right? So coming on towards the first step, now let's start off by sorry by applying KCL to node 1, right? Here you can see, and those currents which are not assigned, we can assume their direction I1, I2, I3, and here we have already have a direction assigned, right? So we can see that 5 ampere current is entering the node, which means plus 5, right? Similarly, I1 is leaving the node, which means minus I1, right? I2 is also leaving, minus I2, I3 is also leaving, and 3 ampere is also leaving. Minus I3 is equal to minus 3 is equal to 0, right? When we simplify it, now what we need to do, 5 plus 3 is equal to 2. So you can say that I1 plus I2 plus I3 is equal to 2, right? Now you can see that I1 is flowing due to the difference of V1 and V reference. That means I1 can be represented as V1 minus 0 divided by how much is the resistance? 4 ohms, right? I2 can be represented as V1 minus V2 divided by 3 ohms, and I3 can be represented as V1 minus V3 divided by 2 ohms. Why V3 here? Because this resistance of 2 ohms is connected between nodes 1 and 3. So the voltage which is responsible for the flow of this current, sorry for the interruption. Now here you can see that the voltage due to which this current I3 is flowing is between V1 and V3. So because this 2 ohm resistance is connected between node 1 and node 3, so I3 will be equal to V1 minus V3 divided by the resistance, which is how much? 2 ohms, is equal to 2, right? If we just arrange it, it will become V1 1 upon 4 plus 1 upon 3 plus 1 upon 2 plus V2 minus 1 upon 3 plus V3 minus 1 upon 2 is equal to 2. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 terms, right? Again you can take LCM and simplify this question, but that's up to you, because as I have repeatedly said that we are here to learn electrical engineering, not mathematics. So it will be better off if we can just solve this question, these equations by directly putting the values in the calculator. So moving towards node 2 now, let's apply KCL to node 2. Okay, here you can see we have already defined the direction of current I2. The current through the remaining branches we need to define. Let's define them as I4 and I5, right? Again you can see that the current I2 is entering node 2. What about current I3? Now you should note that current I3 has nothing to do with node 2. Why? Because it is connected between node 1 and node 3. So there will be no involvement of this current as far as node 2 is concerned. Node 2 has 3 currents associated with it. I3, which is entering, which means plus I3, I4, which is leaving, which means minus I4,
and I5 which is also leaving, which means minus I5 is equal to 0. Fine. When we convert this I3 into the voltages, we have already done that. So that becomes V1 minus V2 divided by 3, V1 minus V2 divided by 3 minus I4. I4 here is V2 minus V reference, that is 0, and that which means V2 minus 0 divided by 2, or we can simply write it as V2 upon 2, right? And similarly I5 is flowing between node 2 and 3, right? So its voltage equivalent will be V2 minus V3 divided by the resistance, which is 4 ohms, minus V2 minus V3 divided by the resistance, which is 4 ohms. I hope there is no confusion in this. Now when we are just separating out the terms, V1 will be equal to 1 upon, its coefficient will be 1 upon 3 plus V2, its coefficient will be minus 1 upon 3 minus 1 upon 2 minus 1 upon 4 plus V3 minus 1 upon 4 is equal to 0. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 times, right? So we have now the two equations. This can be called as equation 1 and this can be treated as equation 2, right? And now we will be moving towards the third node, and when we apply KCL to the third node, here you can see that current I5 is entering the node, current I3 is also entering the node, 3 ampere is also entering the node. That means 3 plus I3 plus I5, and how much is the leaving current? Let's name it as I6. Fine. So this equation now becomes applying KCL to node 3 plus 3 plus I3 plus I5 minus I6 is equal to 0, right? We already know the value of I3. I3 is how much? V1 minus V2 divided by 3. I5 is how much? V2, sorry, I3 is how much? V1 minus V3 upon 2. I5 is how much? Plus I5 is how much? V2 minus V3 divided by 4 and minus I6. Now when we are talking about I6, here you can see how can we define I6. V3 minus V4 divided by 8, right? And we know that the value of V4 is 12, so we can specify it as V3 minus V4, which is 12 divided by 8. Okay, so that makes V1 upon 2 and minus V3 upon 2 plus V2 upon 4 minus V3 upon 4 minus V3 upon 8 plus, because minus minus will become plus, 12 upon 8 is equal to minus 3. It will be minus 4.5, because it will be 1.5, it will go to the other side, its sign will change, and V1 its coefficient is 1 upon 2 plus V2 its coefficient is 1 upon 4 plus sorry for the adjustment, plus V3 it's minus 1 upon 2 minus 1 upon 4 minus 1 upon 8, right? So this makes equation number 3. We can also name it as equation number 3, right? 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5, and these become 6, right? So this is our equation number 3. Now solving these three equations, that is equation 1, 2 and 3, will give you the results of nodal voltage, right? So you can write solving equation 1, 2 and 3 yields, right, V1 is equal to this much volts, V2 is equal to this much volts, and V3 is equal to this much volts, right? So you can solve these equations on your own and find the correct answer, right? So we will be discussing these answers in the live session of this topic. Now moving on towards another example, and this example is again has the same question. Solve the given circuit using nodal analysis technique, right? So let me draw the question first. We have a resistance of 2, then we have a resistance of 3 ohms, 4 ohms, 4ix, amperes, ix, 6 ohms, right? Now in this particular question, you will notice one thing different as compared to the other questions that we have solved. Now we have a current source with a rhombus sign. Here you can see, right? And if you recall the very first lecture, just wait a minute, let me adjust the paper in the frame. I hope it's fine now. Okay. If you remember the very first lecture that we of this course, we discussed that there are two types of sources, independent source and dependent source, and we also discussed that independent sources are represented by a circle, whereas the dependent sources are represented by a rhombus sign. Now this is a dependent source, and we know that a dependent source is the one whose output is dependent upon any other parameter in the circuit. Its output is not independent, right? Here you can see that the output of this dependent source is represented as 4ix. First of all, we need to discuss which type of dependent source it is. Here you can see from the arrow that this is a current source, and you can also see from this 4ix that its controlling parameter or the depending parameter is also a current, which means that this source is a current source and its depending parameter or controlling parameter is also a current, which makes it a current controlled current source, CCC, as that we discussed in the very first lecture, right? Now you can see that this current Ix is basically the current through the 3 ohms resistance, and this current is controlling the magnitude of the dependent source. Higher the value of this current, greater will be the magnitude. So its magnitude is basically not constant, it is a multiple of the current in 3 ohms resistance branch. That can be a divider also, that can be an adder also, but the important thing to understand is that this is now a dependent source whose output is dependent upon any other element in the circuit, right? Coming towards the coming towards the coming towards the uh, nodal analysis. Now again applying the first part. For this we need to identify the nodes. Here you can see that this is a complete node and we can name it as node 1 and assign it voltage as V1. Similarly, this is node 2 and let's assign its voltage as V2, and this can be considered as node 3 and we can assign it voltage as node 3, and this will be our reference node whose voltage is 0 volts, right? So let's apply KCL to node 1, right? When we apply KCL to node 1, here we can see that the 10 ampere current is entering the node, so we just write plus 10. Ix current is leaving the node, so we write minus Ix, and this current, let's name it as I1, right? I1 is also leaving, so we write minus I1 is equal to 0, or we can write it as I1 plus Ix is equal to 10. Or now when we represent I1 as a function of voltages, we can see that I1 is flowing between nodes 1 and 3. So the value of I1 will be how much? Value of I1 will be V1 minus V3 divided by 2, right? Plus the value of Ix will be how much? V1 minus V2, because it is flowing between nodes 1 and 2, divided by 3 is equal to 10, and when we sort it out it will become V1. Let me adjust it, right? I hope it's clear now. It will become V1 1 upon 2 SV2 1 upon 3. Okay, V1 has one more element, V1 upon 2 plus 1 upon 3, right? Plus V1 1 upon 2 plus 1 upon 3 plus V2 minus 1 upon 3 plus V3 minus 1 upon 2 is equal to 10, right? And of course we can name this equation as equation number 1. Okay, now we need to apply KCL at node 2. So let's go back to the circuit again. Apply KCL to node 2 and let's go back to the circuit, and here you can see now Ix current is entering, 4Ix current is also entering, and the current through the 4 ohm branch, let's name it as I2, so it will become plus Ix plus 4Ix minus I2 is equal to 0, right? So that makes 5Ix minus I2 is equal to 0. We already know the value of Ix. What is its value? Now here you can see you cannot find the value from this, the difference of these branches, because it's dependent, right? So you need to go to the depending parameter Ix, and we know the value of Ix is how much? V1 minus V2 divided by 3 minus I2 is how much? V2 minus 0 divided by 4 is equal to 0. So that makes V1 5 upon 3 plus V2 minus 5 upon 3 minus 1 upon 4 is equal to 0, right? So this is our equation number 2. And now what you need to do is apply KCL at node 3. Again you can see that we have one current entering I1, other current leaving, which is 4ix, and then we have this I3 current, right? So the equation will become plus I1 minus 4ix minus I3, right? Applying KCL to node 3 plus I1 minus 4ix minus I3 is equal to 0, right? I1 we all know is how much? V1 minus V3 divided by 2 minus 4ix is how much? V1 minus V2 upon 3 minus I3 is how much? V3 upon 6 is equal to 0. Here you can see this is I1, V1 minus V3 divided by 2. Ix you cannot find it from this branch, right? You have to go to the branch of the controlling parameter. Here is Ix, V1 minus V2 divided by 3, and the I3 is V3 minus 0 divided by 6, right? So we can just simplify it. V1 will become 1 upon 2 minus 4 upon 2 plus V2, this will become plus 4 upon 2 plus V3, it becomes minus 1 upon 2 and minus 1 upon 6 is equal to 0, right? 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5, we have the same number of elements, and we can regard this as equation number 3, and we know how to solve equations through calculators. This is our equation number 1, this is equation number 2, this is equation number 3. So we just have to solve them. Solving equation 1, 2 and 3, we can find out the values of V1 in volts, V2 in volts and V3 in volts, right? So I hope the topic of this part of lecture number 4 is clear, and this topic was regarding nodal analysis. We have performed a solution of around 4 problems, so I hope that this is now clear, pretty much clear.